Hello, my friends. It's an honor to be able to speak at this service for Mitch. I've known him since first grade, so we were 6 years old. As you can imagine, we went through a lot of different phases and trends and interests and hobbies. But some themes carried through. Some themes were simply in his DNA and were with him his whole life. And I wanted to touch briefly on two of those themes today. The first being generosity, his generosity and friendship. It played out in big ways and little ways. Some of the smaller examples are, I remember him making some projects in wood shop, and he would just give them to me. At college, he'd stop by my dorm room and just bring me a pizza and some root beer and thought, hey, maybe you're hungry. Hang out for a few minutes and then leave. I'm like, hey, did you want to take your pizza? He said, no, just share it with your friends. Just constantly generous. In some big ways also. I live in Annapolis, Maryland now. And when I first moved out there, I was lonely for friendships. And Mitch was working in Bonners Ferry. I called him on the phone. Said, Mitch, I got a great idea. How about you drop what you're doing and move out here with me for a year? We can grow together, hold each other accountable, and encourage one another. He says, okay, let me pack up my stuff. I'll be out there in a few days. And sure enough, he showed up. So now we're living in Annapolis. One morning, Colin, one of our roommates, walks out to his car in the morning and looks over at Mitch's car. And there's a homeless man sleeping in his car. So he walks back in and wakes Mitch up and says, hey, Mitch, there's a man sleeping in your car. And he has two responses, both of which just epitomize Mitch. First he goes, yeah, I thought I noticed change kept going missing from my car there. Then he said, well, I have to go to work at 11, so just tell him he needs to be out by then. The next theme, a little unorthodox, but there's a theme of me consistently being stunned by his agility. The first time I noticed that this was truly part of his DNA was in 6th grade. The Thomases had just moved back from the Philippines. And I don't remember why, but Sam and I were chasing Mitch through the house. Down the hallway, he gets in his room, slams the door, and locks it. We hear the window open, so Sam and I sprint around and get outside. By the time we're out there, Mitch is standing on the roof. I was stunned by his agility. That manifested itself out through the years. He and I would hop fences and climb water towers. We would go rock climbing. He would summit the outside walls of buildings. It was just something that brought him joy. He was into climbing, and I was always stunned by his agility in that. Something else along that line that brought deep joy to him and to all those who witnessed it was his ability to dance. The brother could dance. Chelsea, you know what I'm talking about. And through his dancing, that many of us have seen, I think we were all stunned by his agility in that. Now, his days of agility in his earthly body have come to a conclusion. But you know, he has his new heavenly body now. And there are no bad blood cells in that body. There's no pain. And I think he's eyeing some beautiful mountains to climb. I imagine him saying, wow, Adam, if you could see me dance now. Maybe he and Jesus were doing the robot. I don't know. But if we could see him now, we would truly be stunned by his agility and his beauty and his strength. Tuesday, when he crossed over, I had a vision, just this little video that played in my mind. It was of Mitch standing in heaven in the presence of the Lord. And he says, wait a second. Why was everyone praying for me to stay there? This is it. This is perfect. Then I actually remembered a couple weeks ago, we were talking on the phone, and he said, Adam, if I do die, I won't be the one mourning. And quite a few years ago, Paul wrote, to live is Christ, to die is gain. And the first part of that sentence is often confusing to a lot of people, but the second part, I think, is crystal clear. To die is gain. And I think now it's our turn to be generous in friendship to Mitch. Whereas we selfishly want him to be here, to experience him for many more years, and it's fully appropriate for us to mourn his passing. And we will certainly miss him dearly. I would encourage us to want the best for him, be generous in our friendship, and try to rejoice knowing that he is in the perfect place, in the presence of the perfect one. We love you, Mitch.